Good
Hi.
to see you. Everybody cozy at home, right?
Yes. Well, I'm in a hotel, but kind of
Okay.
cozy.
I'm
Good
cozy at home.
for
So
you.
I just had the pleasure to talk to the whole cast before you, and we figured out that there's a lot of themes in the movie, and especially one of it is trust, whom do we trust? And I always thought, I mean, I'm older than you guys, but do I trust my guts or do I trust my intellect? Whom do we trust more? What is it for you personally? What do you trust more, your head or your guts?
Hmm.
I think I go with my gut, but sometimes I just can't tell. And I think that you have your intellect, your gut, and then you have your emotions, and then you have like your true self, your spiritual self, and it's this constant battle of who to listen to and who's in control. And this book for my character, she's in constant torment between her instincts and what's real and what's not. And so, yeah, it's a great question. I try to go with my gut, but I get confused, very, very confused.
I now know myself well enough to know that I just should not trust myself, period. Just across the board.
Do you go with your head though, then?
I go with the opposite of whatever anything is telling me. Like, hey, this is a really good idea, dude. You should do this. And I go, oh, okay, now I know it's a bad idea.
You know, your intellect and your dark side's too clever for that. It's going to start tricking you.
Yeah, but
Well, let's not go there.
it's like Inception where I'm tricking the tricking of the tricking. And now
Yes.
we're like 7 layers of tricks
Yeah.
deep.
7 layers of Armie.
Oh, wow, that sounds complicated, Armie.
Welcome to my life. It's a nightmare.
I don't believe you. So, but
It's
tell us more.
Nope. Go on.
No, but it's just like also the gaslighting, what happens, This is also something, we live in very difficult times in the moment, all of us, the whole world. And, this gaslighting of Mr. Winter, how did you, Lily, deal personally when you had to play the character with that, Did that kind of confuse you?
Yeah, the thing about gaslighting or being emotionally abused by someone or controlled means you stop trusting yourself, and your grasp on reality becomes really tenuous. And I was confused, and it made me feel really weak, and I lost all my self-worth. I mean, as the character. So, but that's a horrible headspace to be in. It wasn't pleasant because I'm by nature can get quite heady and quite sort of anxious, and so it sort of preyed on my own insecurities as an actor. So it was quite a complicated battle I was having. But I think it's an important discussion, and it's sort of, this film really explores what that is to be in a kind of toxic relationship. So hopefully that will, people can draw from that what they will. But yeah.
Absolutely. Army, a complete different question because I'm doing it for Germany and Switzerland. You have kind of German roots somehow. Did you learn anything about Germany?
I do have German roots. My grandmother, who just passed away, was German, or came from a German immigrants to Wisconsin and then Chicago, and Kaufman was her last name. But I've been to Germany, and I've had great times in Germany. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Absolutely, yeah. I saw it on your Instagram. Sorry for that again.
Oh.
Condolences. So then also for you, Armie, you played as Mr. De Winter, so also with so many layers. He's so charming, but you don't know to trust him, and he confuses me. He gets me very much, his personality. How hard was that for you to think into his character?
I mean, it's difficult, but that's the fun part of the job. That's getting into someone else, digging into what that is and figuring out how that's different from who you are, and figuring out how you need to separate yourself from that to sort of try to dive into what you're doing. That's the rewarding part of the job, to live in someone else's shoes for a bit.
Yeah, it's almost like, I think for your actors, it's what is so cool is that it's almost like therapy all the time, right? You go in a role and then you can try things out and you see, yeah,
Yeah.
you deal with yourself at the end. Very last question, as we are living in these times, we are glad we have Netflix through all the COVID time. How scared are you guys about, the dying of cinemas, or do you think we can make it, or you're positive?
I think cinema is going to be just fine. I think cinema has survived 2 world wars, multiple pandemics. I mean, I think that cinema is a valuable and necessary part of the human expression of art. And I think people will continue to want to go to cinema, and people will continue to make cinema. I think right now, the way we consume it is a little bit different, but I think that's an extenuating circumstance.
Lily?
Yeah, I agree. I think that watching movies and having access to this content via these by Netflix, and being able to watch it from your living room and sharing it on a global scale with a huge audience is a gift, and it's so important. But nothing will ever be taken away from the experience of watching a film together in a dark room on a huge screen and hearing the laughter and sharing that art is to be shared and enjoyed together. And I think, and I pray there's nothing that will never go, that instinct within us to tell stories amongst a group of people. So I pray that, however long it takes, cinema will win.
Thank you so much, guys. Stay healthy. Have a good afternoon and a good night.
Thank you.
Bye bye.